Are we live? Are we live? I'm so sorry, guys. I am running behind this morning. Oh man, I did not want to get out of bed this morning at all. I was, I was up kind of late last night editing. I got my next big video coming out. I was up to about 11:30 midnight doing that, and so, oh man, I understand now why some people hire people to edit their videos for them. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday! It is Friday morning. We haven't done a Friday morning live in a while. I had all those events on Fridays and stuff, and so I had to work a switch with the buddy at work, and I was off 2 Fridays in a row. Then I worked 2 Fridays in a row. So y'all know what the TGI Friday, TGIF stuff we usually do. You know, 1 week we'll do it in the morning, and 1 week we'll do it 7 p.m. 7 a.m. It's either at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. And I try to post a notification out soon enough to where everybody can see that. So we are sitting here in the office though, made me an iced coffee. Hope everybody's having a great morning. Good morning, Texas Nurse. How's it going? Oh man. So I think we have a meetup tomorrow over at Jorge's Hidden Gardens. I'm gonna post a link for that. And then next Saturday, I'm gonna be in Humble at the what is it called? I'm gonna pull it up. So tomorrow we're gonna be at Jorge's Hidden Gardens. I'm gonna post the link for that right here. That's from 8 to 1. Nothing crazy. We're just gonna be if you follow me and Jorge's Hidden Gardens on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, we're gonna be talking about fall fruit trees. A lot of people think that planting trees in the spring is the best time to do it, and in most places it is. I mean, Texas is really hot. We have really hot, dry summers, so planting them in the spring can be problematic sometimes. A plant that's just newly planted, a tree that's just newly planted, can have issues going into the hot, dry summer, dealing with the heat and the drought and everything. So you typically here in Texas, in our part of Texas, in Houston, let me close this door. My air purifier is loud. But typically here in Houston, the best time to plant trees is in the fall, especially fruit trees. And so Jorge actually has his own company where they plant trees. That he has a landscaping company and a nursery. So he has a lot of expertise on planting trees, when to plant trees, when's the best time. And so it really works out. So we're going to be focusing on fall fruit tree planting, building that orchard. A lot of people are trying to build orchards and become more self-sufficient. You don't need, acres to have a little mini orchard. I mean, I basically have a micro orchard in my backyard. Orchards are really cool because it's like having a garden, but the whole thing is pretty, low maintenance. Having an orchard is passive food. It does take some maintenance here and there, but for the most part, it's just keep it watered, keep it fed, and you're good to go. So that's why I highly recommend doing a little bit of both. So tomorrow at Jorge's from 8 to 1, he's over in Alvin, Texas. We'll be doing that meetup, hanging out. We're gonna have some giveaways. I'll be there, except from 8 to 1. And then next Saturday at 8 a.m., I will be up in Humble at the, what is it called? Posting the link in here in the chat. This is the autumn plant sale at Mercer Botanical Gardens in Humble, Texas. It's going to be a really good time. I've never been to this event. I've never been to this, but I don't go to enough arboretums or botanical gardens, honestly. I'll have a table set up and hanging out and just kind of maybe probably doing some videos and talking to people and answering some questions and just hanging out. So it'd be a good time. But I think it's from 8 to 3. Really cool stuff, though. I think I met a lot of them through the Herb Society when I went and did a talk up there. Was that early this spring? I think I went up there with Jorge and did a thing this spring with them. That's next Saturday. So tomorrow I'll be at Jorge's, and then the Saturday after that, I'll be over at in Humble. We'll see. Oh yeah, drop your garden questions down below. Drop anything down below. Do you ever come up around Dallas? I don't that often, but we are in the works of trying to plan something because I do have a friend over at Smith's Garden Town in Wichita Falls. I don't really consider Wichita Falls, Texas, but it's close enough. But my buddy Michael Fiore up at Smith's Garden Town, he's got a huge nursery. I think he's a third or fourth generation owned, family owned business. And it's a really cool place that I've never been to, and I would love to go. Jorge's been and said it was amazing. I'd love to go up there for like a weekend and be able to spend some time and do an event and learn some of back the ins and outs. I love going to nurseries and finding out how, like, behind the scenes. I grew up watching, like, how did this get made, or what is it called, how it's made, or on History Channel, where you'd watch like how everything gets made, like at the factory, and then Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. I grew up watching all that stuff. So every time I go to these nursery tours or these meetups, I try to do them at nurseries, and I love to build relationships with nursery owners, nurserymen and women, uh, and figure out how everything got started and see how the operation works. I love seeing how these businesses are ran. It's so much fun. So I really think if you follow Smith's Garden Town, you'll see they post a video every single day. He's actually got our friend Felicia works for him, and he does a video every single day. Like, he does a video every single day. So it's really, really cool. And he shows you behind the scenes and what's going on. And they have an awesome poinsettia program where they do a bunch of different varieties, and it's very technical. He'll actually be on the podcast next week. Next Wednesday is our big, big, big. I try to do this once or twice. See, I think we did one in the early spring where it was like 8 people, and we went for like 2 hours. And I think we're going to probably end up doing that on next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the garden party Halloween special. And if you didn't catch the information about that uh, already on the podcast two days ago, that it's going to be quite a few people on the podcast, probably 6 to 8 people. And everybody has to dress up like one of their favorite gardening content creators. So we all have to dress up. I've got my costume in, and it's pretty cool. And the idea is to not only dress up, but also if you can like recreate a video of theirs, or just make a funny video dressed up as that person, and we'll premiere it on the garden party. So I'm looking forward to that. That's next Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm gonna post the information about that soon. But basically, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, we'll be here. But yes, we are looking forward to try to go to Dallas this year. We do some stuff in San Antonio. I did the Texas Nursery and Landscape Association Expo, and that was a whole weekend long. So it was kind of hard to do like extracurricular stuff, like go to a nursery, like go to Rainbow Gardens or whatever. I did go to the Festival of Flowers, which is in San Antonio, which is really cool. But I am planning also something in Austin. There's a place in Austin. I forget the name of it, and I'll promote it soon because I think it's in March. But they came to Figtoberfest. They drove all the way from Austin to Figtoberfest to meet us and hang out. And they are a veteran-owned association. The guy's name is Jake, and it's going to be like the grand opening or a plant swap or something at their veteran orchard or something like that. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll have a bunch of information. I'm already booking dates for next year. I've already got several dates for next year. It gets tough sometimes because you start getting a situation where you're doing more events than you are content sometimes, and it gets kind of rough. So I probably will be doing, I don't know, I'll probably doing less events next year. If I had to guess, I'll be doing less events. I don't know. I like the little mom and pop ones, but like it gets hard sometimes because I have to make the time worth it for me, sometimes. Because you sometimes have to take off work and all this stuff. So, it's becoming like a second job in a sense. Not that it's not enjoyable and I love every minute of it. There are times where I don't love it, but it's becoming like a second job sometimes. And so I have to, be compensated for certain things. So, but I will do pro bono stuff time to time. But I have to be. I just got this new thing for my internet, and it's supposed to be bumping the speed up. And I don't know if it's any good. But yeah, so it's fun. I'm gonna try to go more places and do more stuff, uh, and be more of a Texas garden guy, not just the Houston garden guy. Even though I'm just in Houston. So thank you for answering all my questions. I recently found you were on YouTube. I bought some plumeria seeds while I was in Hawaii a couple of years ago. Your plumeria videos have always been really helpful. Oh, thanks, man. Um, if you go to plant, if those seeds are a couple of years old and they might not be viable anymore. That's the only thing. Be careful with that. Uh, Plumeria seeds and adenium seeds, like desert rose seeds, are going to be not have the greatest shelf life. You want to get those seeds as fresh as possible. Like if you have a friend, so I've ordered seeds online before for desert roses and plumerias, and they come from Thailand usually, or Taiwan, which is worse, or China. So I'm gonna be careful with that. The best place to get seeds is if you can get them local from a friend. Oh, so you seeded you seeded them now? Okay, cool. Or you seeded them back then? Okay, you didn't wait 2 years and then plant them. I got you. Yeah, if you were to wait like a couple of years, they might not work out very well. That's awesome though. Yeah, plumerias are pretty easy to seed. I did find out from if you want to go back and listen to the Plumeria Papa episode we did 2 weeks ago. So what I have in my backyard is I probably have 30 Plumerias, and some of them are grown from probably a third of them are grown from seed that I grew from seed. And what did it? Oh, really? You waited a year? They were good after? Yes, that's good. You must have stored them in a good location or something. Um, but he was telling me there's a reason why a lot of people propagate plumerias instead of growing them from seed. Reason is, so I have like 30 something plumerias in my backyard, and I'm hoping for cross pollination. Well, he was telling me that he hopes I didn't have a bunch of white and yellow flowers. And I was like, well, I do. And he goes, you want to be careful because if you have white and yellow flowers, those are dominant colors. Those are dominant colors. And so that if you have a bunch of, vibrant different stripes and, pinks and oranges, if you have some yellow in the mix and white in the mix, that it can overpower the hybrids, the really cool looking ones. And a lot of the seeds that you sow will come out and they will all be white and yellow, which is kind of a bummer. But then he also told me that just because it takes 3 to 5 years sometimes, depending on the condition. They have like plumerias in Thailand, they're like in the most optimal position, and they get flowers the first year, he was saying. But you won't know the true color of the flower until after the third cycle. So it's got to bloom 3 separate times, and then you'll know what the true color is, which is kind of crazy, kind of wild. So I'll probably be looking to, move some of my white and yellow ones just to be safe, because I want to kind of hybridize and get my stuff, kind of, new varieties. Let's see. I started them in a paper towel and clear bag. I stuck them under my grow lights. And a few days later, I had 12 seedlings. That's awesome. Yeah, when I start plumeria seeds, I typically will soak them overnight. Some people say soak them for like a day or so. I did them like overnight, so 8 hours maybe, and then I sow them in some well draining soil. You probably want to use like I mean, you can use a seed starting mix or whatever with perlite and peach or cocoa, whatever you want to use. And then I will tuck the little seeds. The seeds for like a plumeria look like tadpoles especially when they're in the water. They have these little tails, and so I will typically, you know, if you picture a tadpole, you dunk the head into the soil, and I'll leave a little bit of the tail hanging out the top. So about half and half. So the entire seed, you'll see the seed encased, and you'll get that in the soil about, I don't know, just get it in there, and you'll have the tail flapping out. And I had pretty good success. I've got one plumeria outside that's got seed pods. I got one seed pod on it, and I'm really excited to see how that turns out, because that's the first plumeria that I've ever had that's had seed pods. So I'm super excited about that. Really excited because I've never had any before. I never had any of my own. So I can't wait to see how that turns out. I know someone was telling me that they can take up to 8 months to mature and dry out and crack open. So I went ahead and I put some of those organza bags over them. But they're getting quite big. They're getting quite big. I'll probably take that organza bag off and put one big one on each side of it because they get pretty big. The Plumeria Papa was showing us some seed pods. I mean, they were like this big, like the size of a quesadilla. Pretty dang big. Man, I have been internet, man. Freaking internet drives me insane. I'm gonna have to run a hard line to my freaking office. What it is? I'm gonna have to get up in the roof and run an Ethernet cable down to my computer. This is insane. I don't want to get in the attic, but I guess now it's not so hot, so I can do it this time of year. There's already existing stuff, so I shouldn't drill any holes. I should just need to feed. I got my fish tape. I should just be able to feed an Ethernet cable from there to my living room, up, come over, and then go right here, drop it down. I should be able to just do that. Yeah, I know, but it shouldn't be any. So I bought this new thing called a power line network, and it uses your like electrical. Like you put a plug here on my computer, and it's got an Ethernet cable coming out and plugs into my computer. And I put a plug by my router, and that plug goes into the router. And so it's supposed to use your electrical system basically as an Ethernet cable, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild. But when I checked it, it had about the strength of what my Wi-Fi is, like less than 100 megabytes per second. And when I go hard line to my Ethernet cable, it's almost a gig. So it's 10 times faster when I plug in my Ethernet cable. So I probably need to just run an Ethernet cable. Quit being lazy, Destin. Get up in the attic. Get your big ass up in the attic and Ethernet cable. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, though, I am down 40 pounds since August or July. I started my diet and kind of like cutting back on a lot of stuff, sugar and Cokes. I cut out Cokes, Diet Cokes, all that stuff. And I'm officially down 40 pounds. Like all my shirts, like I wore this shirt to a master gardener class and it was tight. It was real tight. And like I picked it up and put it on earlier. And like I was like, oh my God. I went like this and I was like, there's so much extra slack. I've been having to shrink my shirts. Oh man. It's been nice, I mean, I'm in that middle stage where I'm still fat. So like it's still hard to find some shirts, but all the shirts I have are too big now. I guess it's a good thing. But like, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy some new clothes, I guess. Shouldn't be complaining. Hmm. My one hitch has always been breakfast. I always have to have a hot breakfast. Always have to have a hot breakfast. I hate cold. I hate not eating breakfast. If I eat breakfast, I can go all day and not eat anything else. Like I can wait till like 7 o'clock at night. And if I eat at 7 a.m., I can go all day and not eat anything. But drinking a lot of water too. Drinking a lot of water is been helping me. I used to get really bad cramps out in the garden. Like I'll get cramps in my jaw, in my back, and my leg. And just honestly getting off of sodas and just drinking more water, man, it has made a difference in my life. Made a huge difference. I have not really had a cramp in my leg or in my jaw or anything since I started the diet. Pretty much, it's pretty wild. Because I was out in the garden, I was like, why am I not gaining? Why am I not losing any weight? Why am I not losing any weight? Because I'm outside every single day in the sun, sweating my ass off, busting my butt, drinking water. Like, why am I not losing weight? It's like, oh, when you go inside, you're eating Cheez-Its and drinking 2 Diet Cokes. It's crazy. So, oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was so bummed out the other day at work. The ladies at work, they did like a big Halloween thing. And like everybody was coming up the stairs and they had cupcakes and oh my God. They had cupcakes and cider and all this stuff. And I do treat myself. Believe me, I do treat myself. But I was like, I cannot have this. It's okay. I cannot have this. someone had birthday cake the other day, and I was like, I don't need this. I don't need it. I'm like that meme of SpongeBob where he's like completely dried out, where he doesn't need water. I don't need it. Add sea salt to your water. Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of people adding sea salt to their water. I definitely have seen that. What I definitely have been doing is when I do drink water, I've been getting the pH, like the pH plus or whatever. So it's like a different. I don't know enough science about it, but it might not mean anything. um, but Phil was explaining to me the science behind it, and it made sense when he was down. Man, I miss Phil. I miss Phil. Phil was down for 3 days, and man, it wasn't long enough. I wish I could hang out with Phil all the time. If y'all have any gardening questions, another glitch, another glitch. If y'all have any gardening questions, drop them down below. The YouTube stuff, I've really been focusing a lot of my time and energy on the YouTube stuff because, I was talking about this on the garden party on Wednesday, that posting videos that are 60 seconds is cool. I mean, it's fun. Um, but there's a lot of stuff like I can't give all the information in 60 seconds when I'm doing a video, when I'm gardening, when I'm planning something, or I'm talking about something. It's hard to explain everything in 60 seconds. So I feel like it's more beneficial to people if I post it, if I make a 20-minute video and put it on YouTube and where people can watch, and learn the entire process. So I've been focusing a lot of my time and energy on YouTube long form and Facebook long form here in like the past month or so. And I'm sure people have seen the difference. I haven't been posting or reposting old stuff as much on Instagram and Facebook, especially in the last week. Um, but I hope people appreciate the extra effort I'm going into to post longer form videos, and that they're appreciating. They enjoy those longer form videos. And I think they do. The views. The views are showing, because I mean, I think YouTube this month, in the last 28 days, we got 111,000 views, 3,300 watch hours. That's 3,300 hours of watching. So, and that's amazing. So I appreciate all the support, and appreciate everybody, you know, not only watching, the 60-second videos on Instagram and TikTok, but actually going and watching them on YouTube as well. Oh, thanks, Sharon. X might be a good platform. For long. Yeah, I'm already on. Like I'm on Threads and Twitter. I just don't ever post on there. I wish there was an app that would post all my videos on every platform with one click, but it doesn't work like that. And so, like, I usually post my videos on YouTube, Facebook. So I usually, the first place I post is on Instagram, and I'll share the reel as a video on Facebook. And then I go share the video as a video on Facebook, which is two different things. There's reels on Facebook and there's videos on Facebook. Then I got posted on TikTok. Then I got posted on YouTube, and adding another platform is kind of a pain. And also, when I post on Instagram, it automatically goes to Threads as well. So I don't know. X may be a good platform. I may have to try it out. We'll see. I'm new to your videos, but do you plant a fall garden? Yes, I did. I'm starting I've been planting my fall garden for about a month now here in Houston, which is crazy because we're actually going to get some warmer weather next week. We're back in the 70s, and high 80s this week coming up. So I'm actually a little nervous. But whenever if I plant my fall garden too early or my winter garden too early, it kind of works out for me because I'll just come home on my lunch break and I'll water those spots to kind of give them a little bit more energy, a little more relief. Because if you get up in the 90s and you've got like broccoli and cabbage and stuff like that, it'll start to just wilt and die, or it'll go to seed, So you want to be careful when you're planting those fall veggies. So I'm kind of focusing a lot of my veggie planting on spots that I can get to easily in water and kind of give them a little bit of relief. So I planted three or four beds of that so far. Let's see. Do you? It's our first year to plant one. Do you have any tips? I have plenty of tips. Yeah, yeah. No, it's your first year gardening. I would start small. I wouldn't go crazy. Start small. If you can grow from seed, grow from seed. Plant starts are so expensive at certain places. Um, Places like I went to Home Depot last weekend, and God, everything is so expensive at Home Depot. I don't ever go to Home Depot. I was only there because I was looking for something specific. I was looking for onion starts. That's what I was looking for, not the sets. I was looking for the onion start, like the seeds, like the baby onions. And I found some at Home Depot. There's a group of guys doing work on the house next door to me, and they've been really loud the last couple of days. Um, so yeah, I went to Home Depot and I was noticing how expensive everything was. And it was like crazy. So if you can start stuff from seed, I always recommend that. Just added some gypsum to my soil to try start improving this awful clay soil. I'm going to start my own compost pile as well. Anything you can suggest for soil improvement? So I would look into. So I'm assuming if you're adding gypsum to your soil, you're doing it in the ground. I don't do a ton of in-ground gardening because my soil is so bad. If I were to go and improve a bunch of or amend the soil, for one, I have utility lines going through my yard. So anytime you do any digging in your backyard, before you do anything, before your shovel touches the soil, before you till anything, go and call 811. Call 811 and have them come out and check your yard and make sure you're not about to fill up like a fiber line or a power line or a gas line or something. So always do that first. As far as your amendments, I don't do any in-ground gardening. I do all raised bed gardening because my soil is so terrible. It is very clay, nasty gumbo stuff, doesn't drain that well. So what I would recommend if you absolutely want to do in the ground, check out a guy called Josh Satin Farms. He does what they call the lasagna method, which is in the ground. But what they do is they build up. He builds up these rows and he stacks. He calls it like the lasagna method. I started watching his videos I haven't seen him in a long time actually, but he does really good videos. And what he does is he will kind of build up the beds on the ground, and he puts cardboard down and he does a layer of compost, and it's really cool. So check out Josh Satin, JOSHSATTIN. I think his garden was called Satin Hill Farms. I think he's since changed his name and all that stuff, but if you look up Josh Satin, you should be able to find him. You know what, do you one better, let me find it for you. Yeah, he was one of the first guys that I started watching on YouTube. And let's see. Let's see. Yeah, he's got a really cool. I can share this actually. If you're gonna do in the ground, if you're gonna do in the ground, I would check him out, Josh Satin, right here. Uh, and he does these in-ground beds, but he does like the lasagna. So these are preparing beds, a no-till farm. Yes. So I will share this one to boom. Yeah, check him out. He's really cool. Got a beautiful, beautiful beard. But yes, I would check him out, and he will show you some no-till methods for in-ground gardening. I love watching his videos. I haven't watched in a while. When I first got started doing my YouTube stuff and my videos, he's one of my first people I started watching. My fall garden, broccoli, cabbage, and pak choi is doing well. I kept them under a 30% shade cloth for the first several weeks. They're in partial shade during the heat of the day. There you go. Yeah, if you can keep them in the shade under a shade cloth for a while until you really need to put them in the ground, that's even better. I watched your garlic video. Can I plant these in a pot instead of a raised bed? Absolutely. I would not plant yours as thick as I did with a pot. depending on the size of the pot. But even I probably shouldn't have, even I probably shouldn't have planted mine as dense as I did. But I was kind of seeing, like, I was kind of experimenting with it. I've never used that sub pod raised bed, so I'm really excited to try it out and see how it works. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, am I not subscribed to him? I will definitely subscribe right now. I don't know why I'm not. Let's see. They'll have fun, full sun when the leaves are full. Water daily. Yep, water daily. Water daily until you're down like in the 40s and 50s. Now that I'm still getting in the 70s. Still getting like the 70s and 80s here in the Houston area. Not really getting into the 90s. We're getting like maybe like yesterday was 58, and then we had like 84, 87. So it's kind of nice. Afternoons have been a little bit warmer, and next week we're going to be like in the low 70s, mid 90s, mid 80s to high 80s. So we'll see how it goes. I'll just, like I said, I come home for lunch. I let my dog out. Who let the dog out? Who? Who? He's back here chilling. Uh, but yeah, yes, Texas nurse, good job. Shade cloth has changed my garden like 100%. If you don't have a shade cloth and you haven't figured out how to use one, I love shade cloths. They're the best. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Appreciate you hopping in. Hey, how's it going, Christy? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate everybody hopping on live. I was a little bit late, so I'm glad everybody hopped in when they did. We got about buffering. I've been buffering a little bit. Would it be okay in a freeze, or would I have to pull them in? I'm up by Conroe. All your stuff like broccoli and cabbage and stuff are stuff that I grow over winter. So I don't bring those in. You're talking about the garlic. No, the garlic should be cold tolerant. Your garlic will be cold tolerant to a certain extent. Stuff like hardneck garlic is more cold tolerant than soft neck garlic. I did some hardneck, but mostly soft neck garlic here in my yard. I wanted to see what would do better. So we have been having colder and colder winters here in Houston. And a couple of years ago, I actually lost some soft neck garlic in that polar vortex, which that was freaking cold. I mean, I don't think anyone could have expected it to be like that. So I was growing garlic like that, and man, it was rough. So I planted a ton of, but I did the store-bought garlic on that one and did not survive. So I wanted to see which one would do best with this winter. I mean, you can't predict how cold the winter is going to be. Not, I mean, kind of be, I don't know, but so I did two different varieties. I did 6 different varieties, not including the elephant garlic that I planted, but 2 out of those 6 are hardneck. So I wanted to see how the hardnecks would do. That's the only thing I want to plant in the ground, but should I plant it in the south side full sun? Okay, ginger. If you want to plant ginger, you can wait till the spring, do that. Or if you can put it in a container and you can bring it in, you can do that. But people grow ginger in a container and they will bring it in or put it in the greenhouse. But yes, ginger likes full sun. Oh, awesome, Christy. Welcome, welcome. Yes, garlic. Yeah. Garlic. Garlic is cold tolerant. Like I said, the hard necks can be more cold tolerant than the soft neck. So yeah, I planted 6 different varieties, including the store-bought garlic. Yeah, the store-bought garlic, I had a bag of it from Kroger or wherever I got it from, and it was, a couple of them were starting to sprout, which you can still use those, but I was like, I'll go ahead and throw a couple cloves here in a raised bed. And I'm actually going to be planting. I got a bunch of stuff I want to get done this weekend. As I stated earlier, I will be at Jorge's Secret Garden. I'll be at Jorge's Hidden Gardens tomorrow from 8 to 1. And I may even go live later on to promote it as well. I'll post a link right here. We'll be over there from 8 to 1. And Jorge's going to have lots of cool fruit trees. So if you're looking to get fruit trees planted this fall, the fall is the best time to get your fruit trees, any tree. If you're in the Houston area, fall tree planting is the best time. I've been waiting to try out my power planter over here that they sent me. It's a big auger, big handheld 9-inch wide auger that I want to try out. We got a bunch of pomegranates out of my dad's place that I want to go plant, but it's just been too hot. It's been too hot. I don't want him to have to go out there and hand water 15 trees every day. So if you wait till it's the fall and it cools down, it's going to be typically wetter. It's the best time of year to plant a tree, especially if it's in well draining soil. If it's in well draining soil, for sure. But I've got some trees I want to plant. I have to plant because they're just getting too big for the container. I've got a couple things I'm taking to my dad's. That's where my dad's got about 100 acres, and so 100 acre woods. I just thought deep in the 100 acre woods where Christopher Robin plays. Caffeine is kicking in. Whoo! Yeah, but whenever my trees get too big for the containers, they end up going to my dad's place. I've got two plants in particular that have to go to my dad's because they're too big for my place anymore. They're too big for containers. One is the popcorn cassia. It's called popcorn cassia. I got it from my friend who works at Moody Gardens, and you can look it up. It's called popcorn cassia, and it smells like buttered popcorn. It has the coolest little blooms, and it smells like buttered popcorn, and the bumblebees go nuts for it. And it's just so big and bushy that I got to get it in the ground. It's growing through the bottom of the container. I keep cutting it back, and it keeps coming back like crazy, and it's shading out a couple beds, so I got to move it. The other one that I got to rehome to my dad's is my Turk's cap. I got a big mama pink Turk's cap. It's in a container, and I did not realize how big the Turk's cap will get. I cut it back so many times, and it's probably 16 feet wide. It's poking out 8 foot. It's growing into other plants. It's so beautiful. I love having it, but I don't have the space for it. It doesn't grow straight up like a regular hibiscus. The Turk's cap wants to bush, and this is a big old bush. And so I need to get it to my dad's and get it planted. He can plant it over by his bees or whatever he wants to do, because it does not stop blooming. But it's got the most beautiful pastel flowers on it, that hang upside down, and the hummingbirds go nuts for it. So he already said that he'd love to have it. When I took cuttings, and I still have cuttings, might take some over to Jorge's tomorrow and give them away. When I did cuttings of it, man, they took off like wildfire. Every single cutting that I did took off like crazy. So really easy to propagate. I love Turk's cap. I love the little fruits that they put out, but it's just getting too big for my backyard, and it's growing like crazy. I don't have the time to go and prune it back once a month. So that's going to get it removed. And then we're probably going to take some fig trees over there too. Got some fig trees that need to go in the ground. I do have some big raised bed containers. They're coming from Smart Pots. They're sending me some more fabric containers that I might put some fig trees in. Some of the ones I want to keep. I got a couple that, like the Little Miss Figgy. I got the Little Miss Figgy, and it's a good fig tree. I mean, it puts out, rather than putting out a dozen or so big figs, it puts out like 100 little figs, and they're okay. They have good flavor. But I usually keep fig trees here that I propagate and stuff. And unfortunately, the Little Miss Figgy is trademarked, so I can't legally propagate it and sell it. I can propagate it, but I can't sell it. And so it doesn't make any sense for me to keep it. So I'm going to probably send it on down the road to my dad's place, go stick it in the ground somewhere, and let him feed the birds or feed himself with them figs. What are you doing, boy? But I have a big video posting tonight. I got a big video coming out tonight. I'm very excited about it. Very excited about this video. It's been a wild journey with these desert roses, and I hope that people enjoy my desert rose videos. I'm sure there's some people that just want to see me do gardening stuff. But I know based on views, I know there's a lot of people that really enjoy the desert rose videos as well. So there's going to be a couple of those coming up. I got one coming out tonight, and it's with my biggest desert rose yet. My biggest desert rose yet. And I can tell that the desert roses are getting popular. I can see it in the views on the videos that people are enjoying those. So hope y'all enjoy this video that's coming out tonight at 7 p.m. I've got it set to go public at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. So I was up late last night editing it. And I do have another video. Well, I say that I got like how many videos I have just folders of content that I haven't had time to edit. And so that's why I'm kind of excited for the meetups and everything to kind of be over with for the year so that I can have time to catch up on all this content. I've got, let's see, I've got one more of, I got the final video for the Great Alabama Nursery Tour. I've got the Moody Gardens video with me, Des, and Phil. And then what else do I have? Just on the docket. Let's see. What's going on here? Load. Got a lot. There's a lot coming up. So that's not right. Let's see. Got, I think that's it. I think I got, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'll have, but after this weekend, I'll probably have 3 more videos. So 1, 2, there's 2 on the docket. And then, oops, 2 on deck. And then at least 2 more I'm creating today or tomorrow. So that's exciting. And those will be more gardening and not desert rose. Let's see. What soil do you use in the pots for the fig trees? I have one that needs potted. So here lately, I've been using a combination of, if it's in a pot, I will typically add. I typically try to add perlite. Here in the Houston area and the Dallas area, they have living earth soils. So I've been using like a combination of organic compost and rose soil, and then I'll add some perlite in to really help with drainage. So that's been like my fruit tree, my fig tree mix. That's what I'll probably be using. Well, I won't be using a container this weekend. I'm probably going to be using one of those Vigo raised beds that's like 24 inches wide. I got a native black fig that's been in a container for too long. It needs to go in the ground, but I don't plant stuff in the ground because my soil is too bad. And yeah. So I mean, I plant them in basically those raised beds. What is the, hold on a second. Let me get this real quick. Let's see. What's the Great Alabama Nursery Tour? So the Alabama Nursery Tour, I went to meet one of my mentors, my YouTube mentors, and he's in Alabama, and they had a big meetup at the Great Fall Garden Festival in Petals from the Past. And throughout the entire trip, I stopped at like 7 to 8 different nurseries and did videos, did tours of each one. And so this right here, the link is that playlist. And I think, I don't know how many videos there are in that one. There's 5 videos in there. 5 videos in that in that playlist. Yeah. I probably need to add the originals. There's technically 6. Technically 6 videos. Let's see. But yeah, it was a great time. I drove all the way to Alabama from Houston, and I stopped at a bunch of different nurseries and did a bunch of tours. Like I did a tour of every single one of them, and there was a lot of them. And let me post this one on here too. And so it actually inspired me. Me and my wife are going to go, and we're going to do another tour in the spring. We're planning out she's a teacher, so planning out our spring break so that we can go. We're going to drive all the way to Florida. I think we're going to drive to like Florida and go see some of those awesome nurseries, and then we're going to go a little bit north and maybe go see Phil up in Wilmington, or we have family in Columbia, South Carolina. Go see them and then make our way back and then kind of stop in nurseries all the way through. So, and I originally said, I was like, oh, we should make it where like I can only buy one thing from every nursery I go to. And so, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Ginger wants 2 to 5 hours of direct sun. I think the south side would be too much for it. Yeah, I guess it depends on the type of ginger. I mean, Texas, I mean, yeah, I always say when people say full sun, Texas sun isn't always the same thing. So I mean, direct sun can be too much. That's kind of why I like doing stuff in containers, because if you plant it in a container and you put it in full sun and it looks kind of sad, you can move it to a shadier spot. So, but yeah, I've done ginger before and I've done it in full sun. It's been all right. Yeah, check it out. Oh, you're in Alabama. Nice, Ellen. Yeah, I stopped in Montgomery, Alabama. I did a tour of Pedals from the Past over there in Jemison. I was staying in Clanton, and then the second day I was there, I went to Birmingham. Drove to Birmingham and went through a bunch of nurseries up there. Stopped on the way back at a place called Myers Plants and Pottery. It was really cool. And I stopped at one more in Louisiana on the way home. So I got one more video that's coming out, and it's part of the Alabama garden tour, but it's not even in Alabama; it's in Louisiana. So I'm going to add that bonus one into there. So I love doing nursery tours. Anytime I go somewhere, I like to go to different nurseries and kind of see what they have growing there differently, like what they have in Houston. It's always cool to see, different plants, different soils, different pots. I think I bought more pots than I did plants on the nursery tour. It was really fun. I bought a ton of pots and I've almost used them all. And so anytime I go to nurseries, I try to see what they have, because it's so weird because some things will be more rare. Like when I went to, and I already posted the video for this. So I went to the nursery over in Louisiana, and they had an almond verbena in a 3-gallon pot. It was huge, so huge. And they only wanted $25 for it. And here in the Houston, an almond verbena is going to probably cost you $40 to $60, depending on the size. And if you don't know what almond verbena smells like, oh my God, it smells. If you have go to your grandma's kitchen cabinet where it has uh, almond extract, that's what almond verbena smells like. And it smells amazing. It smells so good. And I, potted it up, got it repotted, got it rejuvenated. Had it sitting in the shade for about a month. And now it's out in full sun and is thriving and it looks amazing. And I see bumblebees on it. I see, and it's right there in that new garden area, and it smells amazing every time I walk out there. Yep. So I plant a lot of stuff in pots because I have so many utility lines in my backyard that it's hard to be able to dig. And then also, I'll use the raised beds and the rings, the tree rings, so I don't have to dig. Because if you in my backyard, if you were to oh, here we go, buffering again. In my backyard, if you go out there and dig a 2-foot hole, fill it with water, come back the next day, it's probably still gonna be full of water. Right now, no. Now it won't. This time of year, no, because I got cracks in my yard. They're like 3 inches wide. They're just soaking up water. But yeah, it's pretty dry right now. We haven't had a significant rain in probably a month or so now. I shouldn't complain. Places like Austin have not gotten like a significant rain in a while, so I should not complain. But usually my soil does not drain. That's the problem. And so digging a hole and planting a tree is hard. I mean, I did a crepe myrtle in the side yard over here, and I think I dug about 3 inches deep before it was just undiggable, like it was like hitting rock. And so I just and people do this. I planted the tree just like that and mulched up really high and then staked it so they would be sturdy. Um, and so it's done well. It's about 12 foot tall now. That you can't kill it. Am I harvesting water? Great question. I don't harvest water. I don't have gutters in my house, but I'm also in the Gulf Coast of Houston area, and so it's typically pretty wet here. I am on city water, which isn't great, but I'm also not like we're not full blown drought. We've only had like one drought since I've been in this area for like the last 7-8 years. I grew up in this area my entire life, but I don't have the space in my yard or anywhere in my HOA. I don't think allows it, which I'm sure there's laws that say I can, and all that stuff. I'd have to put gutters in my house, and I don't plan on being here forever. That's why a lot of stuff in my backyard is in containers as well, because I don't want to be here now. I want to get out of here now. The traffic has gotten so bad. My HOA is a nightmare. I'd love to get out of this neighborhood, and I could sell my house for a good profit. But everywhere else has gone up in price too. So I mean, where do you go? Where do you go? We kind of brought this up on the garden party last night, and it's just the Houston market and the urban sprawl has just gotten a little too much lately. It's just gone a little haywire here lately. It doesn't, you can move an hour south of Houston, and then 2 years later, it's a giant subdivision filled with TJ Maxx and Targets. It just can't get away from it nowadays. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but yeah, it's all right. It's all good. I always try. I think the reason people like my channel so much is because I try to do as much as I can with a smaller area and dealing with. Let's go to Wyoming. Uh, so I think that's why people like my videos, is because I do a lot with small space, and a lot of people have small spaces. So I think what'll happen eventually is I'll end up buying a piece of property further away, down south, and still keeping this house. And then on the weekends, go over there and working. We have a barn, like a little barn dominium or something, or a little barn with like a sleeper, cell, a sleeper cell, like a little sleeper area, like a 1 bedroom, like studio thing, where I can go stay on the weekends and have my orchard and have my greenhouse and store a bunch of my equipment and stuff. So that's probably what'll end up happening. And then maybe eventually one day I'll move out there completely. So we'll see though. I'm definitely running out of space here. And after y'all see tonight's video, and then the next video, the next video that comes out after this one, or sorry, my next big video after the one that premieres tonight is a big one. Is a really, like, literally, it's a big one. I had to order special material to be able to do this video. I had to go find a special pot to do this video. This video cost me a lot of money to make. This video, just the materials alone, cost me around $400. Yeah, with just materials for this video. Well, sorry, it didn't cost me $400. The value is about $400. I paid about $200. So you'll see very soon. It has been very hard for someone like me who cannot keep a secret to keep this stuff under wraps. And I'm trying my best to do it. So be on the lookout for the big video. The big video, you'll know which one. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. I'll probably have it done fairly soon. But I mean, I say that I haven't even started filming it because I was waiting on materials to come in. They came in late last night. I was hoping they would have came in yesterday at lunch, but everybody knows how UPS is nowadays. So yeah, waiting on materials. So, but I'm very excited, and y'all are gonna like this video a lot. But I think I'm gonna go outside and water the garden before I go get my haircut. I haven't had a haircut in like 3 weeks, and it's too long. Or it's been a month actually. It's been a month. My hair is still long, and then I got a lunch with my buddy Jerome at the Bonsai Supply up in Houston. So that's gonna be fun. But I really appreciate y'all hopping on today. I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching videos. I always tell people the nicest thing you can do for me is share my videos with someone else. Go on Facebook, go on YouTube, and share one of my videos, share one of my lives with one of your friends. Just share it on your page. Comment, like, subscribe. Y'all don't know how much that means to me and how much it does for the channel. Boost that algorithm. So thank y'all so much for supporting the channel. And hopefully we see y'all at an event soon. I'll be at Jorge's Hidden Gardens tomorrow, and then I'll be at Mercer Botanical Gardens and next Saturday. So, and those are my last 2 meetups for the year. My last 2 meetups of the year, I believe. So yeah, but I hope you all have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Maybe we'll go live again tomorrow morning or this evening. We'll see. We'll see how much I get done. But I'll holler at you later. Have a great one.